Well, let's bring you some breaking news now. And this is about the family of the teenager Harry Dunn. Now, you may remember that he was the boy who was killed by a former US spy when he was riding his bike and they were driving on the wrong side of the road. They have welcomed a damning report into the UK's government's handling of their case. Let's go live now to our Midlands correspondent, Lisa Dowd. Lisa, tell us about this report and what the family are saying.
Well, this marks the end of a 6-year struggle for justice and accountability by the family of Harry Dunn. Back in 2019, Anne Sacoolas, a US intelligence officer, was involved in a head-on crash with Harry Dunn outside RAF Croughton in Northamptonshire. Now, she left the UK with diplomatic immunity due to a loophole in an agreement between the UK and the US. And this report lays bare that there was no direct contact between Harry's family and the British Foreign Office until Sky News covered the story. That is when the Foreign Office escalated the case, offered the family a meeting with the then Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, but by then it was too late. It was a few weeks after Anne Sacoolas had already left the country. And the family says that this report simply confirms what they knew already, that the British government, they say, was useless in the early days of their case and that the UK was no match for US officials. They were, they said, inept. I have been speaking to Harry Dunn's mother, Charlotte Charles.
I think the overall reaction is just sadness and just disappointment more than anything. You know, I think we knew what was going to be in the report. I think we had a really good idea, having lived through the last 6 years and been dealing with the Foreign Office or trying to deal with the Foreign Office from day one. But I just feel really, really sad for all of our family to be let down, hugely let down in the way that we were. And although we expected it, reading it in black and white and confirming that we were badly let down, yeah, it's sad, really.
Now, the lack of government help meant that the family were left alone to fight an extraordinary campaign for justice, which saw them go to the US to meet President Donald Trump back then to ask Anne Sacoolas to be returned to the UK. Now, that never happened, but she was brought before a UK court via video link in 2022, where she admitted causing Harry's death by careless driving, and she received an 8-month suspended prison sentence. Now, the diplomatic immunity loophole, which was exploited by the US in this case, has since been closed. Driver safety initiatives at US bases in the UK have been improved. This report by Dame Anne Owers makes 12 recommendations to improve communications and support for families who find themselves in a similar situation to that of the family of Harry Dunn, and to improve transparency around the complex diplomatic arrangements at military bases like RAF Croughton in Northamptonshire. But I asked Harry's family whether they were confident now that a family in a similar situation to them would be treated differently, and they said that they were still not confident yet that they would be treated better.
And Lisa, you've obviously spoken to Harry's family and know them really well now from day one when we first broke this story. Do you get the sense from them now that they feel that this case has now been put to bed, that they feel that they can now move on with their lives because they've spent so much of the last few years just constantly campaigning?
They told me that they had been in fight mode for the last 6 years. They see this as one of the last milestones in their case. They hope to meet with the Foreign Secretary again, perhaps they think in around a year's time, because they want to ensure that all of these recommendations are implemented and another family just don't have to go through what they did. But they made the point that even though their fight is over, they still have to live without Harry every day and still live with that grief.
Lisa, thanks very much. Lisa Dowd there.